Today I'm going to play through a game of Shores of Tripoli, this time from the US side. Can we pull off a win? Tune in to find out here on Legendary Tactics. So I'm going to walk you through a game of Shores of Tripoli, and this time from the American side. So the challenges are different for the American. Obviously, the idea is to bottle up Tripoli and make sure that there's as few pirate raids as possible, as well as working your way through Alexandria to Dern to Benghazi and eventually to an invasion of Tripoli itself. So it's a very different type of game, and there's certain kind of key cards that generally you want to do in the beginning. I always find Swedish frigates arrive is a very good starting point for the US, simply because it gets a blockade up, and it also gets a blockade up that will be substantial once the US gets a chance to move away from Trafalgar. Oddly, my opponent plays troops to Tripoli. For me, that's kind of a play I usually take after the reshuffle, but that's fine. I mean, I'm fine. I'm going to move my boats with naval movement across to from Gibraltar into the Tripoli patrol zone, and now those corsairs are going to be pretty locked down. Obviously, with Murad Reyes, it does leave that those couple corsairs from Gibraltar open, and instead my opponent plays Tripoli acquires corsairs. That's fine, same difference. Without really much else to do at the moment, I'm just going to start building gunboats. And gunboats are, again, they're great for absorbing hits. They're also great for bombardments and just boosting the firepower of your operations, your naval operations. So if you have nothing else better to do, if your events aren't amazing or anything, just play and get some gunboats. It's never a bad move. This is followed up by Murad Reyes breaks out, and there's a reasonable force of corsairs now in Tripoli. So I'm going to anticipate a bit of a pirate raid, but there's not much I can do about that at the moment. I don't have enough strength to kind of go in and start attacking Tripoli, which is a move that I hadn't done in early games of this great board game, but I find that at a certain point it can make great sense to attack Tripoli, especially if it's a winter turn, so you can get your frigates back at the end of the year, going into the spring. It's not a bad move at all. So I'm just gonna build another gunboat, and basically Tripoli just discards to play another corsair in Tripoli, and just building up forces. I have another frigate that has arrived in Gibraltar. I'm going to keep that one handy, because there may need to be, if any of the minor powers, Tangier, Algiers, or Tunis, comes to life, we're going to have to use that frigate probably for that purpose. We're going to clear away our cards, and my next card is early deployment. So I'm going to play to get an American frigate from 1803 a bit early. Again, shoring up that wall of defense, because I know the pirate raids are coming. Interestingly, Algiers declares war, and I'm a big fan of taking out these minor powers as quickly as possible, mainly because I want to essentially make the Yusuf Karamanli card as useless as soon as possible. It can be very powerful, especially if Tripoli is close to winning on gold. And so I'm going to just discard a card, move up to 2 frigates, and I'm going to move in with my gunboats, and I get a hit, but they get 2 hits, and so I have to sacrifice my gunboats, unfortunately. Now that may have been a mistake in retrospect, but because the frigates are valuable, but they will come back if you just damage both of them. They will come back, but I just thought I wanted to preserve them. I'm very nervous about that pirate force in Tripoli at the moment. There's a bit of a vulnerability there. And now with Algiers, there could be some other pirate raiding there. And in fact, Tripoli decides to raid from Tripoli. Now, the Swedish frigates are superstars. They actually sink 2 of them. My American frigates get 1. And that is great. That really takes a bite. 3 Corsairs is a lot to lose, especially since they only capture a single merchant ship. Unfortunately, they get U.S. signal books overboard, which draws out Congress authorizes action, which would have been great to add a couple more frigates to 1803. So it does weaken my position, but I can't argue with the results really ultimately. I'm going to go back in and see if I can get rid of the Algerian Corsairs. Fortunately, my American frigates do well. One of them is damaged though, so I'm going to have to save that for the following year. But at least that takes the threat away from Algerian Algerian piracy. Now, this was interesting in that Tripoli played Tripoli attacks even without any frigates, and that to me didn't seem like the best move. However, the U.S. frigates did not score a hit. Tripoli scored 2, so that damaged 2 more frigates, leaving only the Swedish frigates to defend against pirate raids. So I really can't complain about it. Luckily, I had Bainbridge Supplies intel, so for my last move, I brought back that Congress authorizes action. So we've got plenty of reinforcements arriving next turn. However, we're going to have to likely survive a pirate raid, and we do. Fortunately, though, the Swedish frigates, again, superstars, they sink 2 Corsairs on the way out. And even though Tripoli plays Happy Hunting, which gives some additional dice, and captures 3 merchant ships out of the deal, their force is very much reduced. I mean, I have 7 frigates that I can bring to bear now into the Tripolitan zone, and I can. There's only the 4 frigates there, so here's an opportunity. Now, I had to discard a card, but my very first card was to use the Thomas Jefferson event to move up to 8 frigates, and I took my opportunity to have a naval battle in Tripoli and just hit them while they're weak. I played Preble's Boys take aim, which gives me a bit of a bonus for one of the frigates. And interestingly, Tripoli played the Guns of Tripoli. Again, to me, very early, but I guess when you're being attacked like this, it was maybe a good opportunity to cause some damage. In the end, they scored 4 hits, and I only scored 2. However, once again, with the ability to damage the frigates, I didn't need to worry. They were going to be back next year. And it left only 2 Corsairs there. So even with the Swedish contingent, and I get the reinforcements from Malta, I've got 5 frigates coming back next year, and there's no way they can build up fast enough for that. So Tripoli shifts focus to reinforce Dern. Again, not sure if I totally agree with that. I mean, I don't know what the best move would have done without knowing the hand that my opponent had, but anyway, I ended up just playing naval movement and setting up Tripoli patrol zone, but also getting a frigate to Alexandria to set up Hamet's army, which is coming very, very soon. Now, Tunis declares war, which is interesting. It's at a bit of a weak point for me in a way. However, I decided to play Tribute Paid, which I had in hand. Cost me a couple gold, but it gets rid of Tunis at essentially a very low cost in time and potentially units as well. So that ends Tunis's operations. I only have Tangier to worry about now. And it did weaken my blockade, but again, with 2 Corsairs, there's not much that can be done anyway. There's in the end, a pirate raid from Tripoli, and my American frigate, the Swedish frigates unfortunately didn't do much, but the American frigate got a 6 and intercepted a corsair, 0 merchant ships gained. And yeah, there's nothing that Tripoli can really do right now. Even though the blockade isn't a strong one, you're not going to get very far with 1 corsair anyway. So I ended up just discarding a card to build another gunboat in Malta, and Tripoli built a corsair, and now we're into 1804. So you can see the pirate threat now is essentially neutralized. I do need to worry about the gold situation a little bit here. But the fact is it's going to be very hard. They may get a card here and there or something that gives them a bit of gold, or they may get lucky with a raid, but they're in kind of rough shape because they just don't have the corsairs to really get that last 6 gold. So the game shifts here, because with that being the case, now I need to take Tripoli, and obviously the Tripolitan player is going to try and essentially build up Tripoli, and we'll have a big battle at the end. That's where this is headed. So after we discard some cards, I create Hamet's army. That's the last of my special cards. And here's the Sweden plays tribute, gets rid of the Swedish ships, and gets a couple gold for Tripoli player here. But the challenge is now that, again, when I take naval movement and I move 4 frigates there to defend against 2 corsairs, that 4 gold is almost an insurmountable obstacle at this point. And Tangier is really the only risk at the moment. Again, the main goal of my opponent here is to build up Tripoli, to reinforce Dern, Benghazi, make it as hard as possible for me to make it through that way. Hopefully deplete Hamet's army to the point where it isn't going to be effective. It's not going to be able to take Tripoli. So totally agree with his move here. Absolutely correct. There's no way it's going to be 1 on gold at this point. It's basically a done deal that 6 gold is going to be probably as high as Tripoli is going to get. Constantinople demands tribute. That's what I was thinking of. Happened to be the next card. So that evens it out. There's no way with 2 corsairs in late 1804 that this is going to be much of a challenge that way. So now it's all about defending Tripoli and me timing my attack and making sure that I can get Hamet's army to Dern, to Benghazi, then to Tripoli for the win. Ideally, if I have time, I'd love to build some gunboats. I'd love to bombard Dern, Benghazi, get rid of some of those troops to make things easier. But I don't have a lot of time either here, so we're going to have to see what we can do. Now, Tripoli played the Philadelphia runs aground, and along with uncharted waters, managed to capture a frigate, which is not good. I'm going to try and burn the Philadelphia right away with the daring Stephen Decatur, which does nothing, and the raid completely fails with snake eyes on the dice. So unfortunately, I was hoping to get something a little bit better. Even damaging it might be helpful, but ideally we want to sink it. And then, of course, Morocco declares war, and we have to deal with Tangier. At the end of beginning of 1805 now, we're looking like we're running out of time as far as the American player goes. I'm in decent position, but I really need to start moving here. There's not a lot of time. I haven't even left Alexandria yet. So I play show of force, and that ends the threat from Tangier with the 3 frigates. I don't need to sacrifice any of my forces protecting Tripoli. Not that there's a lot of corsairs there. And again, here comes the reinforcement. Tripoli is going to pay to rebuild another corsair. And then I'm going to attack Dern. So I'm going to send along 3 freighters. They get a 1 hit. The gunboat does nothing. So hey, anything that can help is a good thing. We go a few rounds here with a lot of misses. And then the next one, I get a really lucky roll with my Arab infantry and get 3 sixes. That eliminates the forces in Dern. So I have to say I got lucky on that. It could have taken some hits, but so far so good. So that gives me a little bit of time now. I can maybe think about bombarding Benghazi before invading. We're going to see how it goes, because Tripoli is just building Corsairs. There's really not a lot they can do. I'm going to build a gunboat in the fall with a view of bombarding Benghazi next turn. Tripoli reinforces, and we actually decide just to go in and attack Benghazi. So move in 3 freighters, the gunboats, only 1 infantry eliminated. So I decide to play the Marine Sharpshooters card, and that ends up the Marines do nothing, but the Arab infantry again get a couple hits. Tripoli fortunately misses with everything, and then my Marines take out the infantry at no losses. So now things are looking okay. I've got all of 1806 to take Tripoli now, so it's just a matter of timing everything. And what's interesting is with the last cards in this game, you get to drop essentially every card and then pick your best ones. And so as long as you you budget your cards okay. The Guns of Tripoli have already been spent by my opponent, and there's a few other cards as well. So of course Constantinople sends aid, a last-ditch effort, adding a couple of infantry and a couple Corsairs and a frigate. And so this is going to be leading to the final fight here. I have a chance with the Launch the Intrepid to sink a frigate, so I thought it would be worth trying, or at least a Corsair. Of course, my roll is another 1, so it does nothing. And Storms is then launched, which I should have anticipated. Sends a frigate to the bottom of the sea, unfortunately, so I've lost 2, which is not good. So time to go all in. I don't want to muck around just in case. So we're going to have a big naval battle in Tripoli. I got 2 hits. Tripoli scored 0, so they lost 2 Corsairs. Round 2, I got really lucky with my gunboats even getting some hits. I got 4 hits against their 0, which was pretty awesome. So then in the next round, I got 3 more hits, and they only got 1. So I sent my gunboat home. And then they on the last round, I got 1 hit. They got 2, so I had to lose a frigate. But at this point, it's getting to be fairly obvious. We're going to go in for the land battle now. The bombardment eliminates a single infantry, so not the best. So fortunately, I can send in the Marines. That gives me a massive reinforcement. I also going to play O'Bannon leads the charge, which allows me to roll 3 dice for 1 Marine unit. So it gives me a little bit of an extra bonus. First round of battle, 2 Tripolitan infantry are lost. I lose 1 Arab infantry, so not very heavy losses there. But the second round, I get enough hits. So I managed to, with the help of, well, this is through a few different rounds, I guess, but we managed to whittle them down and end up with finally clearing them out and winning in the summer of 1806. So all in all, I did get some luck at key points. There were some points where I wasn't as lucky, but I would say the screens early on where I was able to destroy the Corsairs at an early stage, that was very key. And then of course I had some good luck with land battles. I didn't have good luck maybe in some other areas, but I'll take that kind of balance any day. It wasn't super close, but my opponent played a good game. I think he played the best game that was possible based on what I saw of the cards. And hey, sometimes it just comes to that big battle in Tripoli, and that's what makes this game exciting. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you here next time on Legendary Tactics.